that we all share.
Why do you think that like mainstream society has been like so against people having these kind of experiences and like made them illegal and sort of suppressed it?
Well, for capitalism, it's terrible.
Why is that?
Well, the first thing you realize, or the first thing I realized when I started thinking like this and started thinking this way, and it was a slow realization. It took me a long time, and I finally kind of wrapped my head around it really recently, like within the last couple months. I was actually on a boat, and there was these dolphins jumping, and I was thinking, these dolphins are like putting on a show. You know, they're like having fun, like flying through the air and splashing. And every time the dolphins would jump, I would, whoa, whoa. You know, it was like fun. I was like having fun with them, and they were having fun with us. And I started thinking, I'm like, God, they're so conscious. They're so intelligent. They never get caught by these stupid hooks. They're not getting caught by any of these fishing hooks. Or no. You never hear about dolphins getting caught by fishermen. You know, they get caught in nets. They get fucked over, but they don't get caught by stupid shit. They're very, very, very smart. And they're trying to communicate. I was like, what is their consciousness like? You know, is a dolphin's consciousness just like our consciousness? It's just they're living in a totally different environment, a totally different way of communicating with sound, and, you know, what if we're all the same thing? Then I started thinking about human beings, and I was like, well, what are people? I mean, if we are really just the same thing, we're just experiencing this life through a different container, you know, through a different set of circumstances, through different genetics, different life experiences. But
different pause.
Yeah, but the idea is that if you were born in my body at the same time, like you lived my life, your personality, you as a human being, lived my life up until this point, you would be me and I would be you.
So you're saying that dolphins are not good capitalists?
I'm saying all together, it doesn't work for a society that doesn't value the group as a whole, because this society is so greedy, we're willing to go to war. We're willing to go places and send these big metal machines that kill people and fuck people up just so we can make more money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't do that if everyone is you.
So if you have this kind of psychedelic insight,
right,
more there being this kind of unity consciousness level.
The human organism as one organism, and that any fighting against itself is completely and totally unnatural, because we are literally all the same thing. So any society that needs war, and the way our society is set up, I mean, I've heard it argued, and argued successfully, that our society runs on war. You know, it runs on the domination of the other parts of the world. And literally, that's the only way you can control a gigantic chunk of the globe. You have to keep everybody down, you know, and that's what our society is based on as far as our globalization, you know, schematic that's been laid out by all these Republicans and all these Democrats and all these people that, you know, are pretending to be our leaders and pretending to look for. None of these people have had these experiences. None of these people feel connected to everybody. They're still, even the best ones are still operating within a very old framework. And a framework that's set up by ignorance. It's a foolish framework. The idea that it should be okay to go somewhere and engage in war to protect a society that wants to go places and engage in war. That's insane. That's insane. Because you're saying, I mean, that's automatically saying that the lives of the people here are worth more than the lives of the people everywhere else. And they're all one thing. They're all exactly the same. We're just, some people just got shitty rolls of the dice. And you wind up in fucking Afghanistan with your barefoot in a hut. You know, shit. That's all that is, though. That's just a shitty roll of the geographic dice, you know. We got lucky and, you know, we're in Southern California. You get lucky, you're living in Hawaii. You know, you're born to a family with great genetics in Philadelphia. You know, wherever the fuck it is. But it's all the same thing. Any human being would be you if they lived your life and had your experiences and your genetics. I mean, the core of it all. That's what I was starting to realize is exactly the same thing. That's why we hate jealousy, and that's why we hate pettiness, and we hate weakness, because we hate it in ourselves. And we see it in other people, and we see like weak behavior in other people. We want to, like, you know, we want to like lash out at them. We want to gossip about them. We want to criticize them. And part of the reason is because we want to punish it in ourselves. Flotation tanks or sensory deprivation tanks are another thing that people who are averse to taking drugs, you know, people who associate drugs with negative things and bad for your body and unhealthy, should try that. I mean, that's another thing that I can't imagine how that isn't much more popular than it really is. You know, I found out about it from the movie Altered States, and I first got in one I guess it was about 6 years ago. It was the first time I tried it. I went to a place in Burbank called Soothing Solutions, and they rent them out by the hour, and you climb in, and I couldn't fucking believe how cool it was. It's this tank that's filled with water, and the water is heated to the same temperature as the surface of your skin, and it's got 800 pounds of Epsom salts in it, so you float in it. You're really buoyant. And you close the door, and you don't see anything. You're in total pitch black darkness. The skin, or your skin and the water feel like they're exactly the same temperature. So you don't know what is what. You don't know what's the air and what's the water, and you're floating with your ears underwater, so you don't hear anything. And so your brain is just completely free. Like there's no sensory input coming in whatsoever. And that's a psychedelic experience into itself, a really, really powerful one. I mean, if you could take a pill, there's part of you that like rescues you from the experience because you know they can always just get up at any moment and leave at any time. But if you ever took a pill and the pill put you in the place that you were at when you're in the tank, whoa, that would be a crazy fucking drug, you know? I mean, you don't realize what a psychedelic experience is until you have a natural one that you can have like that. You know, a natural one that you can induce, totally safe, 100% safe. You just climb in, relax, take a few deep breaths, center yourself in the middle of the tank, and you're gone.
Where'd you go?
You just connect, you know? I mean, you're there, but it's like your body's not there anymore. It's just your thoughts. It's your mind untethered from your body completely. And it's so aware. It's like all of a sudden you're like, where is this brain when I need it? You know, this brain has all the answers to all the questions and all the problems in my life, and it wants to talk to me about it. You know, it feels like the first 20 minutes of every tank experience I ever have is like a seminar on my life. It's like where the tank sits me down and says, all right, see this and this is bothering you. If you know how this is bothering you because you're unhappy with your reaction to this, you're unhappy with the fact that, you know, you didn't do this or you did do that or whatever it is. And the tank like shows you experiences in your life and gives you like correct solutions for all these different problems. And then you start to think about that and relax. And then it always seems to like let you know that, okay, you have some things that you're thinking about in your life that you want to connect, but ultimately all this stress that you're attaching to it is all bullshit, because life is just one part of this gigantic, crazy fucking experience, and here it is. And so as you get more comfortable in the tank and as you go deeper, that's when it gets like really psychedelic. That's when it gets really crazy, like visions and connectedness and just fucking incredible hallucinogenic experiences. Just mind-blowing. The more comfortable I get in it, the more mind-blowing they are. And it's right there. It's right there, you know? It's anybody can do this. You know, and what is it, you know? Are you seeing things? You know, that's that expression, like that negative connotation that's attached to it. What are you seeing things? Seeing things that aren't there? You know, what is there? Do you really know what's there?
I know that I don't know what's there.
This is what I say. I think about it, I call it the fart principle. I say, if someone farted and you did not hear it, and you didn't have a sense of smell, you'd have no idea there was anything going on. You would be sitting there in someone's stench and not feel bad at all. You'd have no idea because you wouldn't have the sense for it. How do we not know that there are an infinite amount of things happening around us all the time that we do not have the senses for? There's all sorts of evidence in other animals and other life forms that they don't have the sense to detect us. Plants don't seem to me to be able to detect the fact that we're going to chop them down.
No, that's not true.
They can feel it?
Yeah, there's a book called The Secret Life of Plants. I talk about it in Breaking Open the Head. And actually they did studies where they attached lie detector sensors to plants. And if somebody approached the plant with a negative intention to hurt the plant would register it before they did anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a bad example. Trees are a bad example. How about ants? You ever like wave your hand over a bunch of ants? They have no fucking idea you're even there. You know, until you step on them, they have no idea you're even there. You know, how do we not know that we're just like that? That there's something around us all the time that we just can't detect. You know, and if there is this evidence in other life forms, and you know, does mold detect you? Can you do that with mold? Mm-hmm. Same thing with a tree.
I don't know. Actually.
You know, what things detect us and what things don't? And what are they feeling? Are they feeling energy? You know, what is it? You know, and maybe it's the DMT thing. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe that's what the abduction experience is, an endogenous dump of DMT. And from having the DMT experience, I think that if there are aliens, they're probably so alien, so beyond what we think of, like flesh and tissue and carbon-based life forms. They could be something totally, entirely different, just completely outside of our perception. But it doesn't mean they're not there interacting with us all the time. You know, and that's probably what aliens are. They're not little gray dudes in flying saucers.
Right.
What is that? I don't know.